very famous male content creator whose life was ruined recently over a false allegation. You guys remember the man that did angry reaction videos? He was viral for the longest time on my feed. He kind of just disappeared over the last 2 years. And he just came out to say why that was. Back in 2024, his girlfriend at the time made false allegations and they went to court. But guess what? The case was thrown out. He was innocent. But because of his fame and what he does on the internet, TMZ picked it up and they reported it. Well, what do you think everyone's reaction was? Everyone thought that he was guilty before proven innocent. And the result of this was that he lost not only friends, but he lost connections to other content creators. He lost connections to sponsorships. He lost the deals. But not only that, it affected him mentally. He was no longer able to make these videos. He says that he couldn't bring himself to be positive. Like that thing that was within him when he felt it, when he was making these videos originally, it was gone. And he was sickened. He felt like he was playing a part. And that is the side of things that people don't talk about when it comes to false accusations, because it wreaks havoc in all aspects of your life. And what did that woman get in return? She got no punishment. There was nothing. She gets to move on with her life like nothing happened.
Women have become brainwashed to think that it is toxic or even dangerous to put your husband before yourself. And one of the things that I prayed for when I was saved was, Father, never let me live like that. Because before I was saved, I did live like that. I was tired all the time. I was depressed all the time. I was lonely. I was bitter. I was frustrated. And people kept saying, well, Laura, you're not taking care of yourself properly. You need to have more baths, rest more, say no to more people, have better boundaries, don't do as much work. And I kept listening to those telling me that, and it never changed. In fact, it got worse. If I had to go and do something but I just didn't feel like it, I thought it was dangerous to go and do that thing in case it made me tired or in case it put me out. And I was so miserable. And then Jesus saved me. And I began to naturally live a life where it's more of you and less of me, like Jesus did. He did for us. So that you can live. But the way that the world is teaching women is that you should live and others should. And that is what destroyed my heart before I was saved. So even if I'm tired, I'm still going to take care of my husband. Even if I'm sick, I'm going to do my best to take care of my family. That is more important. And because of that, my heart is vulnerable. My heart is soft. My life is peaceful. My life is rich. I am rich because I have people to take care of. When we live a life where all we focus on is how we feel and what we need, depression sets in because we cannot live in opposition to how God actually created us to be.
She texted me saying I was busy. That's why I didn't reply. I text back, I'm like, I was busy too. She's like, but yeah, of course, it was just a hectic day. I'm like, I texted you in the morning. I asked if you wanted to go out, and I waited. She's like, oh my God, I can't stand men who really complain like women. I asked her, complain like women. I guess basic communication isn't basic then. You want to know what I did while I waited? I lied to myself. Constructed an entire story out of your silence. You're probably at work, phone probably must be one of those days. I lived through 3 versions alone of this conversation before it even happened. And you? She's like, okay, you want the truth? I was at the park, right? I was bored. I was reading a novel. A friend texted me later to go out. You happy now? I'm like, maybe, but I'm peaceful. She texts saying, so you're not sad, right? I'm like, it's not what you were doing that saddens me. It's how you placed me last without telling me and left me acting like I was your first. I'm like, it's just better we end this now than lie to ourselves, rather. And she's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've ordered you too long. I forgot I was a plan too. See, people think silence is neutral, but it's not. It's actually mutual. I simply give what I'm given. She's like, isn't that a bit selfish, insecure? I mean, I told you I was busy. I'm like, busy is a 5-second text. Can't talk right now. That's what busy is. Effortless effort. What you did wasn't busy. It was selfishness wearing a costume of a woman who has options.
Woman explains how she married young and took her husband for granted and now regrets her decision for leaving him. Let's take a look.
I was a self in my marriage. I've been divorced now almost 4 years, but I was married to my ex-husband 16 years and with him 18 years. And again, I was nothing was ever good enough. I took him for granted. He seriously rolled out the red carpet for me. He was sweet, kind, generous. He told me how much he loved me 5 times a day. He told me how beautiful I was every day. If he'd wake me up in the morning, because he knows I love massages, wake me up rubbing my shoulders. He'd rub my feet every evening while we were watching TV. If I said, for example, oh, I'm craving a Dr. Pepper, he'd be like, okay, let me go to the corner store and get it. He adored me. He was amazing. Like, on paper, it's what every girl wants. Seriously. And yeah, I took it for granted. And now I lost that, right? And I carried a lot of guilt because I caused it. That's my biggest regret in life, is not saving, the whole family aspect. The grass is not always greener on the other side, ladies. It's not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good now. I feel great. And he's super happy with his girlfriend. And honestly, I could not be happier for him, because he deserved to be loved and cared about and respected, as he should have always been. So I'm so happy that he's happy.
Good for him.
Anyways, what I'm saying, ladies, the grass is not greener on the other side. If you have a good guy, take care of him. Take care of him. Trust me, there's nothing good out in these streets. He seriously set the bar. He set the bar. And ultimately, what I always wanted, I had all along. So we have good right in front of us, and we don't know how to take care of it.
I actually want to take a moment and say I respect this woman putting this out there, because for her to be fully transparent and share this to the world, there is going to be a lot of ridicule on her end, but she's being honest, and I really appreciate that. Many people won't admit this, but very young, they don't know their worth. They have a glow up, and then they're sudden attention, and all of a sudden they want to see what else is out there. Some would call it a midlife crisis. Some would call it curiosity got the best of them. And a lot of them don't know any better because there's nothing to compare it to. I think we all should take a moment to really appreciate what we have and not take it for granted. The grass is greener where you water it. What are your thoughts?
I don't mind at all when guys come up to talk to me at the gym. This just happened to me. And I just have to say how, that was the most respectful interaction I've ever had, especially at the gym, because I know that we have this thing oh, don't talk to girls, don't talk to women at the gym, or at all, don't interrupt their workout. And I was literally in the middle of ab crunch, fighting for my life and feeling like I was gonna puke. And this guy had such a gentle approach. So I don't know if the guy, they're ever gonna see this video, but if you are the guy, I just wanted to say, I really appreciate it. I don't mind at all. Again, I don't mind, but this was such a sweet interaction. The guy was just so respectful. First thing that he asked was oh, my friend saw you here. It's it was for his friend last Friday night. And I just wanted to ask, are you in a relationship? Are you married? So points for first thing that you ask is that. And also it was just so respectful. His, I don't know how, the vibe, he was just so I really don't want to interrupt, it's just my friend, he's kind of shy. And I was this is the cutest thing ever. One, I know how intimidating it can be for a guy, especially at the gym, and it's just so cute. You don't have to be scared. I know we have this fear of rejection, but he was so brave, he was so respectful, he was just so sweet. So I'm just saying, for myself, I don't mind at all. I think you're being brave for that, the courage that you have to do that. I appreciate it.
Loving your husband so that he does things for you, so that he treats you a certain way, so that he doesn't leave you, that's not godly. That's just manipulation with a bow. It's manipulation that's so hidden that even you don't see it. It's manipulation that's so hidden that if the relationship doesn't work, you're the woman that says, I don't understand, I did all the right things. See, you do all the right things and they still leave. It's so hidden. The scales are so over your eyes that even you don't understand it. Abigail in the Bible is such a perfect example. A woman who loved her husband, even though it clearly says in the Bible that he was not a good man. She loved him anyway. She took care of him. She respected him. She may not have liked him, but she even protected him. That woman, God saw and knew that she was the right wife for a man with a high assignment. So God took her away from her husband, and she was given to David because she was the appropriate woman for such a man. She took care of her husband, not because her husband deserved it, not so that he stuck around. It was because God called for her to do such a thing. And God rewards women that do that. But the women that say, well, I did all the right things and he still left or it still didn't work out, you're a manipulator. That's different. That's not what I teach. I teach you to be an Abigail, not a Jezebel.
And you know what Emily was talking about, it's very serious. The content creator that was falsely accused of SA, and then you say, okay, well, you know, all of those charges were dismissed. Yeah, but a news outlet went and picked it up, and now people are thinking that I did something that I actually didn't do. Oh, well, don't worry about them. Just keep on moving forward and da-da-da-da. You can, but it's very hard when somebody they literally are the reason your livelihood was ruined, right? And every time you try to get into the mental space, I would, and this is it's a very obvious statement. He's probably going to need therapy and a lot of coaching for years to come, because when he's doing the content, that becomes a trigger for him. Oh man, you know what happened last time you got out there in the public and a woman accused you of this. So if you just stay hidden, stay away from everything, and you might be okay. That's what you do to men. Stop doing that crap.
Hey, wait, let me tell you something. Read this, watch this, cause this don't make no sense. Roll the clip.
Why would you do that? What you mean, why would I do that? Did your daddy pass away?
But that was not, I don't even have my birth certificate. So you took my birth certificate?
Did he ever pay child support? And what you mean birth certificate? Didn't I have
What does that got to do with me? He left me money, not you.
Right.
Okay, but
not you.
He never took care of you, so that was his payback for me. That was my payback.
How is that his payback? He gone. So make his daughter pay for the that he didn't pay for.
My payback that he's never gave me child support to take care of you or your
That has
brothers.
nothing to do with me.
What you mean it doesn't?
I don't know why you think you can just take my money. It's not your money. It's not yours at all.
It is my money. I had you.
It's in my name.
Okay,
That's stealing.
I gave you your name.
That's stealing. You took my birth certificate and claimed insurance money. My inheritance. That's stealing.
I had you with your father that passed away, that didn't give me a single dime. Not one dime to help take care of you guys.
So you're admitting to stealing, so you think that's okay to steal?
I'm not stealing.
It's definitely stealing, and I'm not trying to hear. In some type of category, this would be fraud. You use my paperwork to receive my insurance money, and then somehow my father didn't pay no child support, so it's my money. Wait. That ain't got to do with me. That's a you problem. I ain't asked to be here. What the? Man, hell no, chat. What y'all got to say about that, man? Is the mama right or she in the wrong? Tell me what y'all think about that. Comment down below.
I get asked all the time why my last relationship didn't work. I was engaged for about 2 years. We were together for 5 years total. And wow, I changed a lot in that time. I grew so much, and the individual that I was with was one of the most stable and consistent people I've ever known, but it was to a detriment. He did not have a growth mindset, and he was very comfortable living the life that he was living. And I wanted growth. I don't really have anything terrible to say. Except the fact that he made me stop my job that I was growing on.
Okay, so that was her version. Let's try the truth now. The truth is, she married a really good man, and her version of growth was wanting to start an OnlyFans. He said no because he had self-respect, and instead of taking accountability, she turned it around on him, saying, "You're no longer good enough for me." When in reality, he had a right to leave, and you were no longer good enough for him. I'm sorry. You don't get to commit to a man, say, "This is who I am," make him fall in love with you, and then the moment that he's financially and like legally bound to you through marriage, turn around and be like, "Yeah, so I'm gonna sell my butthole for less than a Happy Meal." And if you don't like that, it's because you're insecure and you're just not good enough. Now you're a whore. You are a whore. And now you're gonna live the rest of your life lonely. You're gonna sell your body till you hit about 30. Nobody's gonna subscribe to you anymore, because let's be honest, they're gonna be subbing to these 20-year-olds. And you're gonna be washed up, you're gonna be used, you're gonna try to find a man, and no man is gonna want you. And then we're gonna see you at like 50 years old posting a video like, oh, I should have stayed with that man. Boo hoo. Boo hoo. Oh my God. What is with women's inability to be honest? You just can't be honest. It's always his fault. No, you wanted to be a...
Why is that every time a man is asked to prioritize his partner, it suddenly turns into, oh, so you want me to abandon my parents? Like, where did that even come from? Prioritizing your partner is not the same as abandoning your parents. But in South Asian families, it's treated like a crime. And that's because we were never taught healthy boundaries. We were raised in dependency, parents relying fully on kids, kids relying fully on parents. So when marriage happens, of course parents feel abandoned. And the son feels guilty, like choosing his wife means betraying his parents. But guilt isn't love. That's just lack of boundaries. Now notice the difference. Parents who have their own purpose and independence, they don't feel abandoned. They actually celebrate when their kids get married because they know priorities are supposed to shift. Think about it. When a daughter marries, everyone expects her to focus on her husband and household. No one questions it. But when it comes to sons, suddenly it's a problem. The guilt trips, the emotional blackmail, it shows how much our culture struggles with boundaries and gender bias. And this happens because most sons live with their parents their whole life, even after marriage. That makes it hard for both the son and the parents to imagine a life without each other. So the son ends up operating from guilt. But guys who move out early, whether it's for work or studies, they build natural boundaries. They learn privacy, individuality, decision making. And that doesn't mean they love their parents less. It just means they're not dependent. Prioritizing your partner doesn't mean your parents come second. It just means your marriage is your foundation. And if that foundation is insecure, everything else eventually falls apart. Because if your partner doesn't feel chosen, they start feeling unseen, like they're competing with their family. That turns into resentment, mistrust, emotional distance. And once the marriage cracks, even your bond with your parents suffer. Here's a screenshot of one of my followers sharing his views on this. He told me this is exactly what happened in his family. And honestly, this is something I deal with in my sessions with almost every other couple. It is what happens when boundaries are missing. So when I say anchor your marriage, I mean secure it first. So every other relationship in your life can stay healthy. The problem is people villainize the word priority as if priority automatically means neglect. It doesn't. Prioritizing your partner just means making decisions with them, building life with them, considering them first in the picture you're creating together. And boundaries, they're not disrespect. They're balance. You can love and respect your parents and still not let them control your marriage or your peace. That's why I always say before marriage, invest in your parents' independence. Encourage them to have purpose, joy, hobbies, a life beyond just their kids. Because if their only source of happiness is you, of course they're going to feel abandoned once you prioritize your partner. So no, men don't feel sandwiched because of marriage. They feel sandwiched because boundaries were never built in the first place. And if you don't know how to build them, you know who to ask.
Why do we care if there's no father? I grew up without a father. I feel like I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. I'm in college. Like, why are we so towards the father? Why does he need to be there so much?
So just looking at, try to answer my question for me. Do you think, what kind of, is there any time, and you're being very vulnerable and I appreciate that, when you were growing up, and maybe not, where you said, I wish I had a dad around?
My mom says I did wish for that once, at a wishing well. But my mom was great. She supported me, provided me.
No, I'm not. This is not a knock on single moms.
Right.
But was there ever a time maybe where a more masculine figure would have been helpful?
I can't really, not off the top of my head.
Okay.
Like can you give me an example of
Yes.
when a masculine figure would be helpful in my life?
When a boyfriend might have broke up with you and you didn't want to talk to your mom because she just didn't get it, and you wanted a strong, stable man to say you're beautiful.
If my father was like, you're beautiful, that'd be cool. But like, if my mom was also like, you're beautiful, I don't really see a difference between like my mom saying it and my father saying it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I don't see the world that way, because there's being a father to a daughter, there's a very unique bond between a father and a daughter, where you fall in love again, but not romantic love. You fall in a different type of Greek love, which is called storge, which is a father-daughter love, where you have such affection for this incredible being, and your task is to shepherd that vulnerable, innocent girl through life all the way up until the marriage aisle, to kind of connect the two topics together, right?
Wow.
Where then you hand it off to another man, because women are worthy of protection.
As a woman, what we do is we test you to see if you're actually serious. Let me tell you, homeboy was serious. There was one night where I definitely was testing that line, and I was coming at him for my own anxiety and fear that was going on, and he was not having it. So in order for me not to keep crossing that line with him, he does have to put me in my place. He asked me to leave one night because I was not respecting that. And guess what? I never crossed that standard again. So the next time you feel disrespected, you have to ask yourself, what are your standards? And when you feel like your standard is being crossed, that's up to you to hold that. Otherwise, she's just going to keep crossing it. It's going to keep testing you, and you're just going to continue to be disrespected.
The biggest threat to American society right now is not Somalian pirates. It's not Hezbollah. It's not Hamas. And it's not China. And it's not even all of the terrorists and the drug dealers in Venezuela or the crazy people in Africa. Those people are not the real threat to America. The real threat to America is upper middle class, privileged, primarily white women that would import all of those other groups into America to make themselves feel good.
And the mom that stole her daughter's inheritance, she's saying, oh, well, you know, that's payback for me having to go all of these years and pay for this and pay for that. I see where you're coming from, but now, depending on how much her inheritance was, you don't have to pay for college or anything. I mean, there's nothing else that you have to pay for, really. That's his contribution. You can get off of my health insurance. You can pay for your own because your daddy left you some money. My time is effectively over, and his money is going to carry you the rest of the way. I mean, like they said, that if you took her birth certificate and you were signing documents and she's legally able to sign, like he was saying, that's got to be some sort of fraud. But once again, modern women, they really don't care about the law. That's why they do the things they do.
This video is for everyone who's ever said they were going to switch to women because men. Let me tell you about the weekend I just had, okay? Let me set the scene. I've been talking to this girl for about a week, not long. She drives 10 hours to come see me, okay? Before she gets here, she's telling me she is like, she loves doing acts of service for her woman. And I'm like, that's great because that's how I feel cared for. Like, that's help make my life easier, please. All right. So she's like, coffee, breakfast in bed. I'm taking the trash out. I'm like, come see me, like, come over. Okay. So she gets here. Mind you, she just left a couple of hours ago. She spent the last 3 days here in my house. And I made coffee for this woman every single morning. And so this morning, I'm like, let me test it a little bit. I'm just going to see if she even offers. I'm like, man, some coffee sounds really good. You know what she said to me? Yeah, you make really good coffee. Your coffee is really good. Like, I know I've been making it for myself for the past several years. I thought you were going to help me. No. And so, mind you, she had been up for like 30 minutes to an hour before me. Like she was drinking a Monster. She was already like her hat on, ready, like reading in bed, waiting for me. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, I'm gonna take trash out. It's full, whatever. She's at this point sitting on the couch reading, and I'm like walking past her, about to go walk my dog, and I'm taking the trash out. Did not offer once, and I'm like, okay, it's really not matching. Words and actions just not aligning. Okay, and so then I come back in, and she wants to talk to me about her stupid book she's reading about Carl Dungeon, some princess donut cat, the end of the world, and it's a video game. If you don't get out of my mother's house, and not only that, but I had to sit here and really act interested all weekend. I spent 4 hours at a bar watching a football game. The Bills. I had to listen to her talk about Magic the Gathering all weekend. I had to open up. She spent $250 on sports cards. And I opened one pack. And she's like, do you want to open one pack? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I don't really give a f***, but I'll do it. And then the whole time I did it, she was like hovering over my shoulder like, okay, but don't get your fingerprints on it. You have to open it this way and only touch on this way. I'm like, I don't even want to open the cards. I don't even care. And then if all of that wasn't enough, we argued the very first night that she got here. Full-blown argument, silent treatment on the way back. And it was so bad. Every single time she asked me how I felt about something and I told her, I ended up apologizing because apparently she took everything I said as criticism, made herself the victim in every situation. And apparently I'm having to apologize for how I make her feel. Please, just stay where you're at. I don't know. It's terrible on both sides.
My husband decided to get someone pregnant. I decided to divorce and let him have her. Was I wrong to bust all in his face the night before their wedding.
When you say bust, we mean
Yes, you know
bust.
just.
hold on, time out.
What kind of bust? Like.
Bust. Spit splash.
Here's the hard part about the whole situation. Whenever you in a situation where you could one-up somebody like, yeah, that's why I busted in his face the day before the wedding, it ain't gonna stop him from marrying her, though.
Oh, no. It didn't stop him from cheating throughout their marriage.
But what should have stopped you from giving him access to your sweet nectars, my love? A man that play with me can't have a conversation with me, let alone taste anything around these parts. I need you to have tossing and turning nights remembering what I taste like, because you'll never taste it again. And you let him play with you, disrespect your marriage, leave you, have a child, get engaged, get married to the side chick, and still have access to you. You should have been such a distant memory to him that it was tearing him up, or you don't even care what it's doing to him because you done moved on so much with your life. I think that whatever you was hoping to achieve by, yeah, that's why I on your face, what does that mean for somebody that likes to eat? He had a blast.
I don't think it was about him. I think it was just closure for her to be able to be like, you know, he was up in this the night before his wedding.
That's a nice trophy in your collection.
But what happens when we sit in that spirit of revenge, what does it do for you if he still got married? You sitting there 20 years later like, yeah, I did this. He still got married. And until we sit in our truth and acknowledge what really happened, it wasn't just as simple as a lick back, right? Because this was your husband first. Your husband broke up your marriage by cheating on you, got someone else pregnant, and instead of him deciding, I'm going to fight for my wife, he accepted divorce, married the other woman. So whatever we say surrounding that, we could make all of the jokes of, oh yeah, I just wanted the revenge, but it was a piece of you that wanted a lick back ain't gonna do what you was really looking for.
She got a lick back.
Can I ask something?
It was
Babe, I
leftover
gave you
change.
$1,000 to
Right.
deposit. You
But
said you
was
needed to buy something. I asked you how much. You said, oh, maybe like $100 bucks. I said, okay, cool. Just deposit the rest. Nothing got deposited. Explain to me why you needed $100 out of 1,000 and there's nothing left.
Because it was already like spent at that point. If it's not even
What was
$1,000.
already spent?
It's not even like it's not even $1,000 anymore. It's not like a whole $1,000. So
How
it's
much
pretty
did
much
you
just
spend?
leftover change.
At first, how much did you spend?
I needed $100.
So you had $900 left.
left over as
Yes.
change.
Why the didn't you deposit the $900?
Because it was change.
In what world is $900 just change?
It's change. It's not even $1,000 anymore. So I may as well to just keep spending it because it's not even.
How does that make sense?
It makes sense to me, and it's left over at that point. So
Oh my
I
gosh.
I just spent it. Who cares?
I care.
Why?
I care.
Why?
Because I told you to deposit the money.
You're wrong. I'm not wrong here because.
Oh my gosh.
It was
what is
left
wrong?
over
There is something wrong with you. There's something
there's
genuinely
not.
wrong
Don't
with your brain.
say that.
Ladies, let me give you a secret. When you respect us, we feel love. Listen, ladies, the best thing you can give that man today is respect. That's it. Fellas, this is what they're going to say. But what if he don't deserve it?
Give it anyway.
You know why? You know why? The reason why you respect him anyway is because protection is your love language. And we give it to you anyway. And when you ain't listening, we protect and provide. And when you're running off at the mouth, we still protect and provide. And when you do what you want to do, we still protect and provide. So if you get your love anyhow, give us our respect anyhow.
nobody warned me as to how lonely it would be actually living by yourself, going from living at home with family. Now at my grown age of 36, it was about time that I moved out. Don't get me wrong, I have lived outside of my family home before, but I've always had a roommate or I've always lived with a friend. So I've always had company or someone to hang out with or chat to. But living on your own is a different ball game. And you know what? I love it. I love having my own space. I love doing what I want to do, watching TV when I want to watch TV, washing the dishes when I want to wash the dishes. Like there's nobody telling me what to do. But equally, it is very, very lonely and it can become quite, not toxic, I would say, but it can become quite dangerous living on your own and not being a sociable person. Like I'm not the biggest social butterfly. So I actually like being introverted and I like staying inside. But yeah, so I'm actually challenging myself to leave my apartment more. And at least this way I get to go home frequently and visit my family. And it's actually so mad because when I used to live at home, like the biggest thing that was on my mind was I need to move out. I need my own space. I can't literally stand living at home with mum and dad. But now that I've moved out, it's the biggest kind of, not regret because I love having my own space, but it's just amazing being able to go home and spending time with my family and appreciate my mum and dad a lot more. And I get to see my nephew as well.
Your Honor, I am the Paris Hilton of Toledo.
Speaking of which, since you said that, Mrs. Rudolph, I was gonna let it roll by me, but you were aware of where you were coming today, were you not?
Yes.
And so you went in your closet. No, Mrs. Rudolph, I'm not through talking. You went in your closet. You looked through all the clothes that you had, and you thought this was the way to go.
I look good.
In a court of law.
Yep.
Yeah. There's looking good and there's looking appropriate. Appropriate is what you go for in a court.
If he doesn't initiate setting up boundaries, he will spend the entire relationship trying to push yours. It's so true. And that is something you can tell a lot about a man by whether or not he has that conversation. Because if he initiates it, you know for a fact, all you need to do is not flirt with the line. All you need to do is not put him in a position where he has to say no to you, because that is so difficult for a guy. But if he does not take the time and the initiative to bring that conversation up first himself, then just go ahead and cut it off.
And the woman complaining about how terrible these modern women. Oh, you know what? I hate men. Men are so bad. I'm gonna switch sides and start dating women. Okay, you do whatever you want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. Y'all don't seem to understand. Modern women are terrible people. They're terrible people. I mean, God dog, even if a man was 90% wrong, even if a man had to take accountability for 90% of the stuff that went wrong in the relationship, you still got somebody that 10% of the stuff they need to fix. Now, it might not be a lot, but it's not nothing either. And you have to think that man might be so bad that his 90% make her 10% look like child's play. But she gets in another relationship where it flips and that other person is stable mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and her 10%, whereas that man was a really bad dude, so she looked like an angel, flips, and now she's looking like the devil, the culprit. Now with your actions, you victimizing somebody else, and you know what will happen? She'll figure out a way to make the other person wrong and make herself the victim. I'm telling you, these modern women are something else.
I made the extremely tough decision to leave my husband last year after being with him for 21 years. We were married for 8 years. And my ex-husband is not a bad guy, wonderful father. But there were some things that would send people into orbit when I would tell them things. And I'm not exaggerating. My ex-husband did not tell me that he loved me. That was something that I accepted. We'll call it accepted, but now I see it as settling. I had accepted this about him, but what ended up happening is years and years and years of what I will consider emotional neglect. Unintentionally, I began to resent him, and There's a few videos that I want to make of things that I've learned, especially with us coming up on 1 year divorced, and what I learned about divorcing the good guy and what a villain that makes you.
Just imagine the ex-husband's perspective. Like, here he is marrying a woman that he thinks just completely accepts him and loves him, but she's actually just settling, and she says that she is accepting of him. But bottom line is that if you still feel a certain way about it, you're not really truly accepting it. You're just kind of pushing it down to the bottom of your feelings, which she then apparently continued to do through the relationship, which does build resentment. But from the man's perspective, he thinks that he's doing everything that he's supposed to be doing because he's a good man, and she sees him as a good man as well. But then many years down the line, after you have sacrificed so much for her and for your family, she blindsides you with a divorce. That man is probably devastated. And don't come into the comments and say, oh, she probably told him 10 million times. She admitted that it was silent. The one thing that she did get accurate in this video was that she was made out to be the villain. And that's what I always say to women that are about to divorce a good man for no good reason, is that you better be ready to be the villain. And if you have kids, you're ripping your family apart. You are impacting them in a very negative way. This should be avoided at all costs.
So I used to think a woman's past didn't matter until this one time that I got invited over to my cousin's house. We were all sitting around their bonfire after dinner. They had invited some friends and another cousin of ours. And in the midst of the conversations, the attention got put on me. And they asked me if I've been seeing anybody lately because, you know, recently I became single again. And I was like, yeah, like I've been seeing this one girl. She came over, you know, we've been spending the night and all this stuff. And my cousin was like, oh yeah, Vinny got his little... What he needs is a good girl that's not going to give it up on the first night. So that's when my other cousin chimes in, the one that was recently married. And she's like, oh yeah, I made Steven wait at least 2 months before he was able to get any. And my boy was sitting there like all proud and shit. Like, that shit sucked, but it was worth it. That's when I was like, you see, like I want that too. But then I'm scared that like, if a girl makes me wait that long and then I find out this one night stand in her past. And then that's when they look at me and they're like, but why does that even matter? And that's when I was like, well, if the whole point of making a man wait is for self-respect and for preservation, then that goes out the window if you gave it to somebody else on the first night. So there's really no point. Because they're just going to feel like you put on a good girl mask just because you seen a future with me, but not with the person you let hit on the first night, you know? And the whole time that I was giving my explanation, all I'm seeing is like my little cousin, the 16-year-old, she's in the back like, and as soon as I finish talking, she looks over at her sister and she's like, My cousin's like, what? And she's like, what about the guy in Mexico? When I tell you guys, her face went pale. Like, she didn't even know what to say. And then her husband's like, what guy in Mexico? So at that moment, I'm pretty sure we all realized that he didn't know about the guy in Mexico. And at that point, he had got up, walked into the house, and my cousin followed after him. And honestly, we didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. But a month later, they actually announced that they were separating. But I think we all learned a valuable lesson that day. For me, it was just because she make you wait does not make her worth my time.
You know what's crazy is, and I don't mean this to sound hateful or nothing, but like when you listen to a woman's story about something that went on with her ex, it's so hard to believe just because I've seen both sides to how stories are explained by the man and the woman. Whenever the woman explains things, she leaves out so much to where she really looks like the victim in every situation. You're probably wondering, what do you mean by that? I'll give you an example. I remember I was cool with this one girl and she would say how her ex was so bad, like how he used to cheat on her, this, that, and the third, right? I'm like, dang, you know, that's tough, yada, yada, yada. He would, da, 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 whatever. Then you learn bro's side of the story, coupled with hers. He would get drunk, and she was part of the friend group. He would get drunk, and he would like do some flirting with her, which is wrong, 100%, that's wrong. But what Shorty would do is actually get paid to go hook up with dudes at their house. But he was so terrible. He was so terrible that he would flirt with girls occasionally. But she would full on go hook up with men for money. Did he know this? No, he didn't know. He didn't know. Or another story, right? One girl would talk about how evil her ex was, yada, 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 this, that, and the third. He's a cheater, this, that, and the third, right? She gets into a new relationship. Dude's treating her right, doing everything right. She's still hooking up with the ex that was so evil, apparently. And one day, her boyfriend calls her while she's with this supposed evil ex. And she's licking his no-no square while he's calling her. Phone blowing up. She's licking her ex's no-no square that she said was so evil, right? But she can't seem to leave this dude alone. But when she tells the story, she only talks about how her ex was so bad, and when she talks about the new dude that was treating her right, she'll just say, oh, we didn't work out. I'm gonna say that again because I lost y'all. She would say that her ex was so evil while still hooking up with her ex while with the new dude who was treating her right. But when you asked her what happened with the new dude that was treating you right, she would just say, oh, it didn't work out. We wanted different things. No, you wanted your ex. Like, their stories are never the full truth or the truth at all. It's kind of crazy.
understand a woman bring life. Y'all don't.
How do you get that life?
Go in the hospital and get a sperm donor. You don't need a man. You need a physical woman to bear a child for you.
And y'all need a physical sperm. Where does it come from? From a man.
You guys need a physical woman to have a bear a
Listen,
child.
women.
You don't need a physical man to live with, to have a child with.
Where you getting the sperm from?
The hospital, bro.
Women like you always try to eliminate men, and that's where the issue is. You just said you don't need a man.
You don't.
You don't want him. You want the potion that lives inside of his testicles.
You're handsome. I like chocolate. Delicious. Yeah?
Do you say this because I'm black?
Yeah. Me rice your chicken. Perfect.
Now listen now. Me rice you chicken is diabolical. But I was definitely taking her back home though.
My roommate in college was cheating on her long-distance boyfriend, and he was driving long distance to come see her every weekend, and he was bringing food for her roommates, for her friends. He was fixing our sink. He was helping us with any maintenance issues we had around the dorm, and just overall helping her adjust as much as he could with her new college while he was going to college himself and had a full-time job, and she was cheating on him. So I pulled her aside and I was like, you have to tell him. And she was like, I'm not going to tell him. I'm going to figure out where I want to go with this other guy before I bail on my 3-year relationship. So what I did was wait for the boyfriend to come home. And then I called him the other guy's name, who he was already suspicious of. So he picked up on the cue immediately. And for the next 3 hours, I heard them arguing in the other room. And then the next day, they sent us home for COVID. And I never saw her or him or anyone else in the situation ever again. Do have a happy update though, that she got cheated on in her next relationship. Karma is up.
The number of black babies aborted was higher than the number of black babies born. Congratulations, Planned Parenthood. They did an incredible job. I always go back to who Margaret Sanger actually was and what she preached. And if she'd had her way, I wouldn't be here. That's for sure. She actually said this on tape, that her goal was to exterminate anybody that she didn't like. She was a eugenicist. Yes. That is the founder and the foundation, therefore, of Planned Parenthood.
She believed people of certain stocks and breeds should not have the right to reproduce. That's why she founded the American Birth Control League, which became Planned Parenthood. And so you look at today, where a majority of facilities in Planned Parenthood. They are in minority, brown and black, walkable neighborhoods.
I am the Paris Hilton of Toledo, and my husband, I like the finer things in life, and he doesn't. He is cheap.
Okay.
For instance, grocery shopping is a terrible mess. He puts every generic food in the cart, and we all know that generic macaroni and cheese does not taste good. And it's not even that, Your Honor. If it was just that, I would be able to deal with it, but it's not. It's more.
It's more than mac and cheese.
Yeah, everything. Shampoo. Clothes. He likes the discount stores. Me, I have to go to the mall. You know, I mean, I'm materialistic and I'm a girly girl, and he knew that when he married me.
It is not natural, not biologically natural for a woman to not feel emotional attachment or love or some sort of fluttery emotion about a man that she's sleeping with. Okay? End of story. End of story. If she's able to do any of these things, again, she either doesn't like you or she's like kind of inside because of all the things we just described. Now, if a woman like this somehow is saying all this because she thinks this is the cool thing to say, but she's actually not inside, right? This whole charade will get dropped the second a guy who comes along that she actually likes. All of this goes to
You know, I've always been a very liberal person, maybe even a libtard. But once you have a kid, you start like having thoughts that have been characterized as conservative. As soon as I had a kid, I was like, I need a gun now. Not for myself, because I've got coyotes in my yard. Right. I've got coyotes everywhere. And before I had a kid, I was like, they coexist with us. Coyotes were here first. Like, I'm in the coyotes' home. Now I'm like, let's make hats out of them. Let's make hats. Let's make coyote boots, coyote earrings out of their eyeballs. Like, it's just...
And it's unfortunate that the couple, it ended in a separation. Maybe he needed some time for himself. Maybe they were just separating and not actually divorcing. But that does something to a man. I know modern women don't think it's important, but that does something to a man. A man, he wants to know that stuff. It's like, hey, you know, were you? Because you're gonna want to know about his finances and things of that nature. So, you know, he's gonna want to know some things too. It's funny because when a man wants to know something, then that's toxic. Why are you worried about that? I'm never gonna tell you. But whenever a woman wants to know, oh, I ask him about his bank account, and you know, yeah, that's how you should do, as you should, and he should respond by showing you his bank account, everything he has to offer. How is that fair? Right? So not only him finding out, but him finding out in front of the family. That's a double whammy. And you can see bars, by the way, family whammy. So you can see why he was upset.